In this video, Mark Ford talks about the fourth step in building your marketing machine: expansion and scaling.
Can't. 4 is about expansion. This is scaling what works and letting go of the stuff that doesn't. So we want to move away from business as usual methods such as cold calling, networking, postcards, lifestyle events, writing books, right? The goal is to find what works predictably and consistently, and get rid of the rest. Now, I've taken a lot of the guesswork out of this process. We've got hundreds of clients that are using this process, and I found one thing that scales really, really well, and the rest should be left by the wayside. So let's talk about this concept: scaling what works, firing what doesn't. So if you've seen the movie Moneyball, then you kind of understand this concept. So if we just kind of take a look at this and kind of look at this case study from baseball, it's a very powerful approach that can actually be used in business too. The Oakland A's, they approach to fielding a team provides a really great model for this. So last year, the team began the 2018 season with the lowest payroll in baseball, less than a third of the payroll of the highest spending team, the San Francisco Giants. But what happened? Well, the A's made the playoffs while the Giants finished second to last place. So why is that? Well, instead of overpaying for players for what they've accomplished in the past, right? They found players who would produce on the field and in the future at a much cheaper salary. What they also looked at were not the vanity metrics that so many of the big spending teams focus on, like how fast is their pitches, how many home runs do they hit. They're focused on other metrics, like how often do they put somebody on base. They don't really care about how many home runs they hit. That doesn't win baseball games. It has a very low percentage impact on the overall game. So they pay less to generate bigger results. And this can be applied, the same thinking can be applied to a financial services business too. And let's talk about how that works. So many people in a financial services business, they are like looking at marketing methods that generate leads, or they buy leads. Now, here's the big problem. By focusing on those metrics of how many leads you're generating, is the number of leads does not equate to directly relate to revenue growth. What does equate to direct revenue growth is qualified appointments on your calendar. If you can impact that number with qualified appointments on your calendar, that equates to growth in the business. So we want to stop focusing on all the metrics that everybody else is focused on and really focus on the metrics that really, really matter. We want to stop throwing spaghetti against the wall, hoping something sticks. That's a waste of time. Simplification is the solution. So where to start? It really depends on where you're at in the business. So if you're just starting out, you don't have a big budget to spend on advertising and things like that, don't start there. There's ways to start using the power of social networks without spending a whole bunch of money on advertising. So one of our clients, they joined us, and within the first week started generating appointments on their calendar using LinkedIn, right? If you don't have $1,000 a month to spend on ads, don't start there. For some, it's not the best place to start anyways. And this client, Eric, he had tried to get LinkedIn working in the past. Now he has it working. Let's talk about what he did and how we helped him to fix it. So what we did is we helped him to identify a target market, develop a message specifically to reach that target market, and then a proven methodology to use LinkedIn, which is the media channel that he's using to reach that target market. We have clients that use LinkedIn, we have clients that use Facebook, we have clients that use Instagram and YouTube. Each of these channels represents its own media channel, and there's different ways to use these media channels, right? You can't just say, hey, I'm gonna do the same thing across all the media channels and expect it to work. It doesn't work that way. People use these platforms very differently and they interact with them very differently. But one thing is true. You need to have identified market, you need to have a message that reaches them, and you need to have a specific strategy and plan within that media channel that works. And you have to be able to measure it. So how to do this completely wrong on LinkedIn? Well, join a whole bunch of groups or start your own. Invite a whole bunch of people to network with you and over coffee. Waste time on not being focused on your ideal prospect that you're trying to reach, or waste time not being focused on how you help that ideal client with the problem that they have. So when you have message, market, and media fit, then you can automate it and you can scale it. You can do that with virtual assistant, you can do that through software, many ways to scale it up. You can also go bigger and scale even faster using paid advertising. Once you have a proven message, a proven market, and alignment there, then you can scale using inbound paid methods, but you have to know your numbers, right? You have to know if you're using paid media, you have to know how much it costs to generate a click. You have to know how much it costs to generate an opt-in. You have to know how much it costs you to generate appointments on your calendar, and then how many appointments it takes to convert into a client, right? This all drives to return on ad spend, return on your marketing dollars. So that for one of the first slides that I showed you where Sam was generating a 10-to-1 return on ad spend, he's spending marketing dollars and then those dollars are converting into clients and revenue. He knows how much it costs precisely to generate a sale. And you have to know the numbers in your business. Now, one of our clients, they have been running seminars and they still do. And before they started working with us, they ran like 70 plus seminars with one of the vendors who charges only for the people who show up. Now, what was really interesting was when we looked at the people who became clients of theirs, we discovered an interesting trend. And the trend was this, that 80% of their clients were 59 years and older when they became clients. We'll call them the buyers. 20% of those clients were 58 and below. Now, this led to kind of a problem. And the problem is the vendor was targeting people who were 55 plus to basically boost the numbers so they could get paid more, because that's how they get paid, people who show up. But that doesn't really impact the business. It impacts it actually in a negative way, meaning that they were spending money trying to reaching people and attracting people to their seminars that were not their buyers. And this happens a lot. People spend their marketing dollars to reach people who don't become or not going to become their clients. So now they do it themselves with 4 times the results. In the first 30 days of taking over their campaigns, they closed 3.6 million in premium and 2.5 million in new assets using our live seminar system training. First 3 months working together, they closed $8 million in premium. They lowered costs, they scaled fast, and they increased revenue by a lot. And in case you missed the money or the calculations behind it, first 30 days, $252,000 in commissions and another $25,000 in recurring fees. First 3 months, $560,000 in commissions. So these are some snapshots. I'm going to share some snapshots of clients' campaigns, the dashboards, the metrics behind them. So when you see a whole bunch of numbers, like these numbers on the bottom, these are the numbers like pulled straight from their paid advertising campaigns. So what this is showing you here is they spent $1,580 $19.95 to generate 82 registrations for their event at $19.28 per registration. Right, so it goes really back to knowing the numbers and trimming the fat so that you can scale and you can scale up.
If you would like to learn more about Castor Abbott or watch a free training video that explains how we've helped over 300 financial advisors and counting, click the first link in the description.